Success Secrets 2: The Success Frequency. Inspired by the wisdom of Napoleon Hill's book, The Law of Success, by Yadvinder Singh. Dedication. This book is dedicated to all daughters who aspire to be successful, and for all the fathers who wish that their daughters will be a success. Preface. This book is just my attempt to put my jot notes together from my study of Napoleon Hill's book, The Law of Success. I know my daughter might not take out the time to go through this 600-page book to discover what Hill thinks are important for one to attain success. Therefore, my hope is that she will open these few pages and think over these ideas. So here's my imperfect, cookbook-style write-up of the recipes of success according to Hill. I really hope that you will read, apply, and then share the insights that resonate with you. Chapter 1. The Mastermind. Quotations. No man may possess real wisdom without the aid of the power known as the mastermind. End quotations. Hill. This is the practice of two or more individuals who come together in a spirit of harmony, collaborating and cooperating to achieve a common goal by talking and exchanging ideas and resources, while at the same time being keenly aware of any and all intuitive insights that flash into our awareness, as that is assistance being provided by infinite intelligence. This power is accessed when two or more come together in the spirit of harmony to achieve a definite purpose. Mastermind is a term for the blessing of accessing a higher frequency of energy, thoughts, and intuitive insights that come to each mind and is unique to each individual. The key is that each member is in harmony towards a shared goal. Music is also a key special element that has been used to aid in creating harmony. Going to a place of worship to sing and meditate can be helpful to charge your minds and try to create the mastermind. To be educated means that without violating the rights of others, you're able to get what you desire. There is power in having a team of people who complement our weaknesses. Be one who applies their knowledge and the knowledge of others and try to organize and classify knowledge so that it is easily accessible to help you in achieving your goals. If one uses their intuition plus their imagination and vision, then they can create successful outcomes. Using organized knowledge is key. Therefore, applying organized knowledge is important. Plus, we need self-confidence to act on knowledge. Seeing opportunities is also a blessing from infinite intelligence, which is aided by our imagination. In summary, a mastermind is created by the alliance of two or more people who work together in a spirit of harmony with a shared goal. It's good to seek out the company of those who have knowledge in key areas that we may lack on our journey towards a goal. Hill is sharing that we do not always need to have in our possession all the knowledge or resources, but that if we can create a group where a mastermind alliance is created, then that will have greater power. Chapter 2. Definite Chief Aim. A definite chief aim is a single goal that you really want to achieve. You want to achieve it so badly that it becomes a burning desire. The goal is clear even though you do not know the steps required to achieve it. You have faith that all that is needed will come your way. Concentrate and channel the mind towards a single purpose or goal. Then keep a notebook with you so that you can jot down ideas and insights that can come at any time. On the journey of success and learning, humility is a starting point. It's the knowledge that I do not know and I would like to find out. To learn from others, study their choices of their posture, their eye contact, tone of voice, the words that they use, as well as their behavior when they are angry or are eating or when money is involved. Face troubles and when they hear of others' fortunes and misfortunes. Be willing to hear the truth, especially when it is revealing our weaknesses. Organized and coordinated effort towards a definite aim is the key that Mr. Carnegie used to form a mastermind group to be successful in his business. Even though he did not have all the technical knowledge in his field, Mr. Carnegie kept a group of members who formed a mastermind alliance to achieve their mission. A father gave an example to his 7 sons who were often in conflict with each other. He used a bundle of sticks and asked each son to break the sticks when they were all bundled together, which they could not. Then he asked them to break them when they were not bundled together, which they did very easily. Afterwards, the father explained that they each were like the sticks, and when they learned to harmoniously cooperate, they would be like the unbreakable bundle of sticks. And when they would be in conflict with each other, then it would be like the single sticks. Thus, the lesson is that there is more power when efforts are organized. A common thread among the successful people that Hill studied was that they had a definite chief aim. In other words, a clear goal. My reflection is that it is important to write out our major definite purpose on a card and visualize it as already attained and seek out others who are successful. Quotation marks. Out of allied effort comes greater power. End quotation marks. Hill. This means that it is key to learn how to work together in organized ways to blend each other's strengths, like Hill's example of a story where there was a blind man and another person who had sight but did not have legs. They met each other and decided to work together so that the man who could see but did not have legs climbed on the blind man's back so they could work together. In summary, you become very powerful when you have a single goal which becomes a burning desire and you channel your energies towards it. Your mind will then become magnetized to bring to it what is needed for its realization. Right actions will lead to the desire being realized. Thus, know what you really want, decide and write it out, and carry it with you on a card. Persistently pursue your goal with the faith that it will be realized when you are willing to put in the effort and pay the price in doing the work required. Chapter 3. Self-confidence. It starts with first writing out your goal, and then once you have clarity, then with that focus, you will develop self-confidence by addressing the part of one who has already achieved that goal. Inside us is intuitive guidance, which is our secret power. Thought, it is one of the greatest forms of energy. Use auto-suggestion, which is when you repeat positive suggestions to yourself to keep your confidence levels high. Try to be punctual, and try not to put earning money above everything else in life. The key instead is to serve others in useful ways, and that is of value to others. Self-confidence has everything to do with what I think about myself. Thus, write down the ideal you in present tense and review it often. Dwell on thoughts of success. It is the way that we think that impacts our achievements. Believing in ourselves is a start. By the thoughts that we think on a daily basis is what will take us in the direction of success. Others will start to believe in us when we first start to believe in ourselves. In summary, Hill concludes this chapter by encouraging us to be content and appreciative of the blessings we have in our lives. He uses the example of appreciating and taking the fresh fallen apples instead of ignoring them and only chasing after the red ones at the top of the tree. Chapter 4. The Habit of Saving. Quotation. The real start of nearly all fortunes, whether great or small, is the formation of the habit of saving money. End quotations. Hill. Napoleon Hill teaches in this chapter that to start the journey of saving, we must know that it is a habit which I need to learn how to start and maintain over time. He advises that we can benefit more from thinking positive thoughts and saying positive words, and also to avoid debt as it chains us. Having money saved has many benefits, such as being able to take on opportunity when it arrives. The first step is to start this habit early. I need to start by training myself that when I receive money, I will enjoy the process of putting money aside and saving. This habit will require a lot of sacrifice, and one step to help us is to track our spending. Try to avoid spending all of the money one receives. At least try to put away 10% of the money I earn for saving. Avoid spending more than what one earns. Try to be simple. One can have a simple dinner for guests, and try to avoid going into debt just to impress and show off to others, such as paying the entire bill for a group meal when doing so is beyond one's means. To conclude, I interpret Hill's writing in this chapter to suggest that we stick to purchasing items that we can afford and need, and start and maintain the habit of saving money consistently, and try to stop creating more and more debt for yourself. The priority should be to try to pay off your debts first. One idea is to try to live on 50% of your income and budget the rest for saving, giving, education, recreation, and life insurance. As one's income increases, one can also try increasing the percentage of money they are putting into savings. Chapter 5. Initiative and Leadership. It all starts with believing in ourselves and then develop the habit of initiative. This means that I strive to do what I'm inspired to do, what needs to be done, without having to be told to do so from others. It means doing what's right, without having to wait to be told what should be done. We can develop the muscle of initiative by striving to take actions to be helpful to others. Keep in mind that as you create more work that is getting attention, you will also attract many trolls, which is expected. I like what Brian Johnson of Optimize teaches about trolls and their negative comments. He said that he learned from somewhere that when a troll says something negative to you, it's like there's poop droppings in your living room. You need to have it cleaned up and get rid of immediately and focus your mind and attention elsewhere. Thus, keep going even though people may choose to stop associating with you, as that is the price to pay for creating genius level work. Quotation marks. Whatsoever you write, or paint, or play, or sing, or build, no one will strive to surpass or slander you unless your work will be stamped with the seal of genius. End quotation marks. Hill. To conclude, strive to be a role model of one who puts into action their ideals. It will be more inspiring for others to see you live the wisdom. Chapter 6, Imagination. Hill teaches that imagination is a starting point in a cycle, such that at the top of the cycle is thinking, then comes the planning, and lastly is the action stage, and then back again to the thinking phase. Strive to keep your mind thinking of successful images and soak your mind in positive ideas regarding your past successes and images of self-confidence. Take responsibility for the control and self-discipline required to imagine positive ideas. Know that no one can take away my power to choose the thoughts that I imagine. The start of our imagination journey can be as simple as writing ideas on better ways to do something, such as if you sell an item, you can think of how to better display it, how to better package it, or how better to deliver it. Chapter 7, Enthusiasm. Controlled enthusiasm comes from working actively towards your major definite purpose and imagine it as already being achieved. Choose to do work that you really love to do. That is one of the first keys to being enthusiastic. What do you love to do? Also choose to surround yourself with others who are uplifting and enthusiastic. Lastly, we can also become more enthusiastic by striving to be healthy and try to find out how others are being helped by your actions. Quotation marks. Correct clothes would impress others favorably. Good clothes would give me an atmosphere of self-reliance. End quote. Hill. Success is tied to the quality of the clothes I choose to wear, as it impacts us first, and then it also creates the impression of being prosperous on others. The choice of our clothes is also important because it impacts us in a positive way. Quotation marks. I am fully convinced that there is a close connection between clothes and success. End quotation mark. Chapter 8, Self-Control. To increase our self-control, the first step can be to work on improving our control of our thoughts. Know that we can guard our minds from the information that is being given to us, and we can say no to negative sources of information and suggestions that are not helpful. I need to remember that what I give to others is the key to what is going to eventually flow back to me, thus seek to send out kindness. Other helpful ideas from this chapter include being willing to think of how ideas can be combined to create new ideas to better serve others. Second, be willing to admit when I have made a mistake. Third, the chances that others will be kind and nice to me will be higher when I first am friendly and kind to others. Quotations. Learn to take all sorts of punishment and abuse without retaliating. Just remember that if you retaliate in a like manner, you are being drawn down to that person's mental level. Therefore, that person is dominating you. End quotation. Hill. Chapter 9, Extra Mile. Be one who first sows by serving and giving and helping, and trust that when the season is right, you will reap from sources that you currently did not even expect. Try to find work that you love to do, because then you'll be more willing to go the extra mile, and you'll be more energetic as well. But be ready for the criticism from close friends and loved ones as you pursue the work that you love. Continually find ways to do more and be of greater service than what is expected of you, or that what you're paid for. The hope is that when you strive to do more than you're expected, word will spread about you in a positive light. And as you strive for success, also seek ways to help others in their journey to be successful. Other helpful insights from this chapter are that we will be happy when we keep finding ways to render service to others, and life is a series of opportunities to face, overcome, and develop mastery over challenges. Additional advice Hill gives is to continually strive to improve in providing the best service I can. Chapter 10, Pleasing Personality. Tips from Hill that I've learned this chapter include: 1. Try to be friendly to others, such as learning how to give a handshake that leads the other person to feel your warmth and love. Number 2. Dress nice and in a way that suits your work and fits your body type. Number 3. Be genuinely interested in those that you meet and amplify their positive traits. In other words, seek to find out what others are passionate about and what excites them. Quotation marks. Find something about them or their work that you really admire. End quotation marks. Hill. Number 4. Learn to speak well because it's an expression of your personality. Number 5. Praise and look for the good in people and the experiences you have. 6. Write out the ideal person that you would like to become and write it in present tense and review it often so that you visualize yourself as if it's already true. Quotation marks. The first step in character building is rigid self-discipline. End quotation marks. Hill. Number 7. Think of ways continually of how to serve and help others. 8. Seek to give the most of what you can at quotation marks the lowest possible profit you can afford. End quotation marks. Hill. This quote was what Hill was inspired to suggest as he reflected on Henry Ford's method of business. Number 9. Be willing to start at the bottom. Quotation marks. I'd rather begin at the bottom and climb to the top. End quotation marks. To conclude, I feel that Hill wants us to realize that before one can reap the rewards of life, one needs to be willing to put many hours of paying the price, which can involve time invested in preparing for life's great opportunities. Chapter 11. Accurate Thinking. Quotation marks. Thought is a much higher and more perfectly organized form of energy. End quotation. Hill. To be an accurate thinker, my understanding from this chapter is to learn how to seek and search out important and relevant facts and let those influence your thinking. Quotation marks. If it is within your power to control your thoughts, the responsibility then rests upon you as to whether your thoughts will be of the positive or negative type. End quotation. Hill. I think that Hill is suggesting that we be careful and guard our minds from negative input and be careful to analyze the suggestions and opinions of others. On a personal level, I love searching for books written by experts and journal articles, as I think that is one way to get exposure to facts over just being at the level of opinions. Hill is inspiring us to try to think more thoughts of quotation marks love, justice, truth, and kindness toward others. End quotation marks. Hill. Chapter 12, Concentration. Quotation marks. Learn to fix your attention on a given subject at will for whatever length of time you choose, and you will have learned the secret passageway to power and plenty. End quotation marks. Hill. Helpful insights that I have learned in this chapter are to look for the good instead of what is bad or wrong with others and in experiences we have. Second, we should strive to finish what one starts and strive to do extra. Third, be willing to adapt and change your strategy and plans as you go along, but the key is to first start with your number one goal that you review often and visualize as already completed. Quotation mark. Fish don't bite just for the wishing. Keep a pullin', change your bait, and keep on fishing. End quotation marks. Hill. Fourth, try to increase our focus so as to access intuitive insights. Hill shares the following tip. Quotation marks. Fix the attention so highly that one may tune in on the universal mind in which all knowledge is stored. End quotation marks. Hill. Dr. Elmer Gates' strategy was to be in a quiet space where he would use paper and pencil to record the insights that would flow to him after he had spent time concentrating on a problem. Quotation marks. When Mr. Edison starts a line of experiment or research or investigation, he never lets go until he either finds that for which he is looking or exhausts every possible effort to do so. End quotation marks. Hill. Chapter 13, Cooperation. Make up my mind of the one single goal that I really want. Believe it be realized. Go for it. And be ready to partner up with those who are willing to help you on the way. Hill encourages us to get clear on that one goal and helps us realize that it requires courage to make that decision. Hill also helped me understand that for a team to cooperate, there needs to be communication about the reasons behind the team project and what the benefits will be overall. Quotation marks. Do not tell them what you can do, show them. Quotation marks. Hill. Other tips from this chapter that I have noted or that when we are given a role to play, such as at school or work, I can take it as a chance to show my ability. Hill advises us to remember that just like when you play with the pendulum and use extra force as you push, you will notice there is the same amount of force returned. In the same way, know that the return will match what you give. Quotation marks. Tomorrow I will do everything that should be done, when it should be done, and as it should be done. I will perform the most difficult tasks first because this will destroy the habit of procrastination and develop the habit of action in its place. End quotation marks. Hill. Second, Hill shared the extraordinary benefits of singing as a great way to inspire people to do our best. Quotation marks. No one can join in the singing of a beautiful hymn without feeling better for it. End quotation marks. Hill. Chapter 14, Profiting by Failure. Keep going when you fail. See it as only temporary and as a nudge, like a block being nudged as it goes down a ramp to a new, different, and better destination. When failure comes our way, let's try to find the lessons that are being given to us and know that these failures sometimes are the only way to get us to learn those lessons and guide us in a different direction. To test our character, know that we may be given many hardships and failures to see what we are really made of and to help develop our character in the same way that a teacher gives challenges to help the student strengthen one's abilities. Money is not the only success sign. Hill inspires us to also seek happiness and peace of mind. He also guides us to seek work that we love and uses the skills and abilities that we have a natural inclination for. One reflection that Hill shares is that in the world of work, it has benefited him greatly to do more than expected. Quotation mark. This idea of performing more work than I was paid to perform has helped me over rough spots. End quotation mark. Hill. To conclude, the lesson I interpret from this chapter is that one should strive to keep trying to do good and helpful acts for others to the best of my ability and beyond what is expected, without expecting money or credit, as well as seeing that each failure is gently nudging us another direction, leading us to eventually be successful. Chapter 15, Tolerance. In reading this chapter, I was encouraged to try to see each person not as different than me, but as equal souls, and maybe even a level of brothers and sisters. Second, I felt that we need to tap into the inner guidance and wisdom within and develop and act on that divine inspiration. I really like what Hill shares about the term educate, which is as follows. Quotation mark. Educate, to educe, to draw out, to develop from within, to cause you to use the power that lies sleeping within you, awaiting the awakening hand of some appropriate stimulus to arouse you. End quotation marks. Hill. Other helpful insights I gained from this chapter are that reading is beneficial as that it can help stimulate our minds to think. However, to note and act on the ideas is key. Another key mention is that there is great benefit when groups organize around a common goal. Lastly, Hill, I feel, is encouraging us to provide a positive, uplifting environment of good thoughts and beliefs to the young, as it will play a key role in the development of their character in the years to come. Chapter 16, The Golden Rule. Thoughts are powerful. Try to think positive, good thoughts because it plays an important role in the development of a character. Second, when I see another person, see them as if I was in their place. Try to think thoughts of kindness towards them and act kind towards them and know that it will be returned to us. Third, Hill repeats that we need to be nice, loving, and forgiving of others. He reminds us that we all need each other and shares the example of trying to take note of all the people and effort involved in providing your dinner and the importance of appreciating this. In summary, Hill, to my understanding, is encouraging me to remember that great accomplishments are possible when we work together, and I love his idea about focusing on developing our own character, which is in our control, and not worry too much about our reputation, which is what other people think about us, which is not in our control. Thus, by trying to help others be happy and being kind to them, we are increasing our positive charge to attract other positive people in our lives. When we are fair and loving to others and focus on our own weaknesses and improving them is better than pointing out the faults of others. Lastly, Hill concludes to encourage us to not procrastinate, but to instead be someone who is quick to make a decision and keep moving towards their goal, to know that one can adjust and adapt but keep moving even if I'm not making the perfect move. I think he is nudging us to keep going no matter what. References. This is based on Napoleon Hill's work, The Law of Success, 2008, New York, Jeremy P. Tarcher, Penguin.